This week in IT, Microsoft announces license portability for VMware VCF customers, stepping up to an agreement announced by Broadcom and Google earlier this year. I look at what the new deal involves and how it might help VMware customers, so stay tuned to find out more. Welcome to the show where I discuss everything connected to Azure, Microsoft 365 and Windows. But before we get started today, I've got a quick favour to ask you. About 57% of the people who watched last week's video weren't subscribed to the channel. Now, as we go live today, we're on about 6,790 subscribers, and I'd really love it if we could push that over 6,800 this week. So if you'd like to help us reach our goal, then please subscribe to the channel and don't forget to hit the bell notification to make sure that you don't miss out on the latest uploads. So it's no secret, of course, that Microsoft would like to have VMware customers on its Azure cloud platform. Now, as part of that goal, back in 2019, Microsoft announced its Azure VMware solution. And the idea behind it was really to help existing VMware customers who maybe have on-premises data centers to either extend that into the cloud with a hybrid solution or just to run their data centers in Azure totally using VMware technology. Of course, you're probably familiar that Microsoft's hypervisor is called Hyper-V, and that's also an option as well. Now, since Broadcom purchased VMware, they've been simplifying the different solutions that are available to customers, and one of the solutions that's available is called VMware Cloud Foundation. And this basically provides a combined solution with compute, storage, networking, and management services to create a software-defined data center. Now, earlier this year, Google Cloud Platform announced that it was striking up a deal with Broadcom to allow license portability for VCF customers, essentially meaning that if you already have a VCF license, you can now use that license with your VM products on Google VMware Engine, which is essentially a very similar solution to what Microsoft is offering in Azure. Now, that has left Microsoft in a difficult position because, of course, they're losing potentially customers to Google Cloud Platform, and they don't want that to happen. So this week, Microsoft announced that it was also going to be offering VCF license portability to get customers to try and choose Azure over Google, of course. Now, Azure VMware Solution supports things like vSphere, HCX, NSX, and vSAN, and you can move everything as it is, just literally lift and shift everything from your on-premises data center and have it run in the Azure cloud. So they offer this kind of migration path for you to easily get the on-premises data center workloads just running, just, get up and go in the cloud. Or if you have workloads that are already kind of designed for the cloud, then you can migrate them to Azure's infrastructure as a service solution. Now, there are some advantages, of course, to running VMware software-defined data centers in the cloud. Things like, that are general with all cloud services, I guess, to a certain extent, is that you can avoid over-provisioning, for instance. You get the ability to just provision resources as and when you need them. It's all fully managed and supported by Microsoft, and you're able to take advantage of the fast pace of innovation that Microsoft brings to Azure. And of course, all of those things are much harder to do if you're using your own hardware on premises. So this announcement gives VMware customers another option about where they might run their data center in the cloud or their hybrid data center. Azure is now an easier option because of this license portability. Of course, everything is a little bit of a mess with what Broadcom is doing with VMware at the moment. When they took over VMware, they already decided to kind of accelerate that process of getting rid of perpetual licensing. That is something that VMware had already decided before the takeover, but VMware just accelerated that process and stripped all of that away. A lot of the affordable SKUs are now gone, making VMware really unaffordable for small and medium-sized organizations. I guess Broadcom has just decided that it's only really the large players, the large customers they have are really bringing profit for the company. Some other changes that Broadcom have made recently recently connected to their partner network. So VMware Cloud for AWS, you can no longer purchase from AWS. You have to purchase directly from Broadcom, and they seem to be heading in the direction that they're getting rid of all these partner relationships, and you're going to have to buy directly from Broadcom. Although the Azure VMware solution does still, as far as I'm aware, include VMware licenses at the moment. So not only does this help to allow Microsoft to attract more VMware customers to the Azure cloud, obviously Google a competitor there, AWS also a competitor, but what else might this mean for Microsoft? Well, ideally, of course, Microsoft really wants you running on their own Hyper-V solutions, but this is the first step to getting those VMware customers into the Azure cloud, and once they're there, of course, then it might mean the next step to moving to Hyper-V in the future will be easier because you're already in Azure, of course. You've already got those people in your cloud, so you can maybe make that migration process and the whole process of moving across every aspect of it a little bit easier and do a little bit more to try and attract those customers. Now, I know that all of these issues with Broadcom taking over VMware and all the changes to the products and the licenses and the SKUs has caused a lot of debate in the IT pro community over the last 18 months or so. So let me know what you think about this change. Do you run your VMware data centers on Azure, or do you prefer Google or AWS? Let me know in the comments below. And if you've got anything you'd like to say about all these changes that Broadcom is making, I'd also love to know what you think. If you found this video useful, I'd really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up, because it helps to get the video seen by more people on YouTube. I'm going to leave you with another video on the screen now about a new feature that Microsoft announced for Copilot at its Build conference a couple of weeks ago called Team Copilot. So do check that out. It's really interesting stuff. But that's it from me this week, and I'll see you next time.